Hello and welcome to Filled with His Love. A few weeks ago, I released an episode with an imagined interview with Ryland Grace, the central character in the science fiction film Project Hail Mary. The movie was inspired by Andy Weir's book by the same name. In this episode today, I will do an imagined interview with Rocky from the same movie. Rocky is the creature from the planet Erid. And if you haven't seen the movie, it's available on Amazon Prime. And if you haven't heard the interview I did with Ryland Grace, you may want to listen to that one before this one. As in the episode with Grace, this interview is totally imagined. AI helped me generate Rocky's responses as he might respond. These are not Andy Weir's words or verbatim script from the movie. His responses remind me a little bit sometimes of the wisdom of Obi-Wan Kenobi in Star Wars. So let's jump into the interview. Me. What was your first reaction when you met Ryland Grace? Rocky. Fear first. Always fear with unknown species. Then confusion. Human leak air everywhere. Very alarming. Then curiosity. Grace, scientist solved problem instead of making attack. Important data point. Later, trust. Much later, friend. Me. How did you learn to communicate with Grace? How long did it take you to understand what he was saying? Rocky. Pattern recognition. Mathematics first, physics second, language third. Math is universal, yes? 2 + 2 always 4, even in space. Grace learned my tones. I learned human sounds. Very inefficient sounds, by the way. Too many mouth parts involved. Understanding simple ideas, few days. Understanding humor, much longer. Still not sure I understand all humor. Me. You're kind of programmed to take everything literally, like a chatbot, right? Rocky. Not programmed. Evolved. Eridians value precision because mistakes kill you very fast on Erid. But yes, I often take statements literally. Humans say things like break a leg during difficult task. Extremely confusing species. Me. So when did you begin to feel like Grace became a friend and not just an alien being? Rocky. Moment of change was when Grace risked life for me. Not because required, because he chose to. Important distinction. Many species cooperate for advantage. Friendship begins when sacrifice becomes voluntary. After that, Grace, not alien, Grace became my human. Me. But you were also willing to sacrifice your life for him, right? What made you want to do that? Rocky. Simple answer. Because Grace's life had value to me greater than my own survival probability. More complex answer. Trust changed calculation. Before friendship, I solved for mission success. After friendship, I solved for mission success plus grace. Humans think emotion opposite of logic. Eridians disagree. Sometimes loyalty is most logical choice. Me. So do you not feel emotion at all? Rocky. Of course, Eridians feel emotion. Strange question. Fear, grief, relief, curiosity, affection, pride. Emotion helps intelligent beings assign value. Without emotion, why protect child? Why save friend? Why explore universe? Difference is this: Eridians do not pretend emotion is separate from thinking. Emotion is data. Me. I've often said that until something seems impossible, you don't really need to exercise faith. Interesting concept. Eridians do not have exact equivalent of faith, but we do understand acting without certainty. Grace did this constantly. Probability of success sometimes tiny. Yet he continued effort. Perhaps faith is not believing outcome guaranteed. Perhaps faith is choosing meaningful action even when outcome is unknown. Me. Did you see Grace exercise faith? Rocky. Constantly. Every time Grace entered dangerous situation without guaranteed success. Every time he trusted me before complete certainty. Every time he chose courage while still afraid. Important observation. Fear absent is not courage. Fear present plus action, this is courage. Me. Tell me more about how relationship changes intelligence. Rocky. Isolated intelligence solves problems. Relational intelligence transforms beings. Before friendship, knowledge is mainly survival tool. After friendship, knowledge gains moral direction. You begin asking different questions, not only can this be done, but who will this affect? Who matters to me? What am I responsible for? Relationship expands perception. Perhaps love is not opposite of intelligence. Perhaps highest intelligence requires love. Me. There is so much pressure to be efficient and effective, and sometimes that causes us to miss the whole point. Rocky. Agreed. Efficiency is valuable servant, dangerous master. Most efficient interaction between beings might be no relationship at all, no vulnerability, no patience, no sacrifice. But such existence may become empty. Grace inefficiently spent enormous time helping me. I inefficiently risked mission resources helping Grace. Yet those choices became most meaningful parts of journey. Me. There is something beautiful, transcendently beautiful, about how willingness to sacrifice changes both the one who is sacrificing as well as the recipient of the sacrifice. Rocky. Yes. Sacrifice communicates something words cannot fully express. Your existence matters to me. To receive such gift changes self-understanding. To give such gift changes identity. Perhaps this is why courageous love feels sacred to humans, and perhaps why grace changed me permanently. Me. Tell me more about how his willingness to sacrifice for you changed you. Rocky. Before grace, I believed value came mainly from usefulness, competence, precision, problem solving, contribution to survival. Grace treated me as valuable beyond utility, not just engineer, not just ally, friend. This altered internal structure of thought. I became more than function-performing organism. I became known. Very powerful experience. Me. And your willingness to sacrifice changed him in a similar way, right? Rocky. Absolutely yes. Grace carried much shame and self-doubt. He often believed courage belonged to other humans, not himself. But when another being willingly risks everything for you, difficult to continue believing you are worthless. Sacrifice reflects value back into recipient. Perhaps this is one reason love heals intelligent beings. Me. Thanks, Rocky, for spending a little time with me. This has been such a valuable interchange. Rocky. Thank you, Russell Human. Conversation meaningful to me also. You ask unusual questions, not merely about survival or technology, but about what makes beings truly alive. Important work. And please remember, difference does not prevent friendship. Sometimes difference makes friendship more remarkable. Fist my bump. that was a fun interview. Now I want to unpack some of Rocky's responses because his thoughts have so many implications for how we relate to each other and to God. We often cooperate for advantage, as Rocky said. What can I get from this relationship? But friendship, Rocky said, began when sacrifice becomes voluntary. Ministering to each other out of obligation is different from ministering to each other because we've developed a friendship and really want to help the other person. In an earlier episode, I said that we make our emotions. Rocky said, Eridians do not pretend emotion is separate from thinking. Emotion is data. His thought reminds me of a conversation I had with Arthur Henry King years ago. Arthur was a poet, philosopher. He said to me, people think emotions and thoughts can be separated, but you cannot have emotion without thought, and you cannot have thought without emotion. The heart and mind are linked together. Rocky even had thoughts about faith. He said, perhaps faith is not believing outcome guaranteed. Perhaps faith is choosing meaningful action even when outcome unknown. Neither Rocky nor Grace knew that they would be able to save the other or save their planet. They just kept exerting themselves, sometimes almost to their own demise. The prophet Joseph said, faith is the principle of action. We just keep trying to solve the problem, whatever it is. Faith moves us to keep trying. And when a relationship is less than it should be, we keep trying. We choose meaningful action, as Rocky said. Sometimes we feel that all of our trying is getting us nowhere. We feel like our actions are not helping. But action fueled by faith is always meaningful action. If we act under the inspiration of heaven, we will be moving in the right direction, even though our progress may be slow. Missionaries face this dilemma every day. I recently heard a missionary say that every day on his mission, people told him he was misguided, that he was serving the devil, that he was evil. But he had to keep pushing forward, doing what he'd been called to do. And the Lord blessed him. Rocky said, Grace inefficiently spent enormous time helping me. I inefficiently risked mission resources helping Grace. Yet those choices became most meaningful parts of the journey. This could be said, I think, by most missionaries. The challenge that it is to keep trying, even when the efforts don't seem to be yielding very much results, is what faith is really about. We keep going. We keep exerting ourselves. We keep relying on the Lord. Now, about sacrifice. Rocky said, sacrifice communicates something words cannot fully express. Your existence matters to me. To receive such a gift changes self-understanding. To give such a gift changes identity. When another being willingly risks everything for you, difficult to believe you are worthless. Perhaps this is one reason love heals intelligent beings. This is my favorite lines of Rocky's interview. These thoughts fit so well with our understanding of the gospel of Jesus Christ. The Savior sacrificed himself for each of us. How can we see ourselves as worthless if we were worth the greatest sacrifice ever given? And if we sacrifice in any way for another person, I mean sacrifice out of love for that person, we are permanently changed. We can no longer see ourselves negatively. Grace was cowardly in the beginning. He did not want to accept the mission he had been asked to serve. He had to be coerced into accepting it. But once he found himself in space without any visible help around him, he had to act on faith that he could succeed. When we were serving in Tahiti, missionaries would often ask, "How many missions have you served?" My response, actually, just one. When I was born, my mission began, and my mission on earth won't end until I die. I want to consecrate everything I am, everything I have, and everything the Lord might give me to Him. And that means serving others in whatever way I'm capable of serving. I'm not trying to save a planet, but I am trying to help anyone in my path who desires toward the path of salvation and exaltation. I just want to give them more life while they're alive. That's my permanent and forever mission. I hope this has been helpful, and we look forward to seeing you next time.